Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This may not be as much of a love fest. First, I do want to compliment you on your staff's excellent work as far as permitting processes go, transferring licenses, any complaints that my constituents have as far as those lines as opposed to the retail side. But I do want to make sure that those of individuals that are working in those areas get the correct due that they are due. I guess most of my questioning will be going towards Mr. Metzger, since I think a lot of this has to do with the financial side of things. What's the approximate total number of sales at the PLCB? Liquor and wine sales.
Sales, gross sales net of taxes last fiscal year was just over $1.7 billion.
Okay. And Mr. Marcus, you had indicated that, and maybe I didn't hear this correctly, if not, please do correct me, that sales were going up at 4.5% year after year. Was that, did I hear that correctly? Sure.
They did last year 4.5 on a compounded basis in the last 6 years. It's about that.
The year before, fiscal year 11-12 was 5%, so we've run anywhere from
excuse me, sir. We can't hear you. Those on television certainly can't hear you. If you like to bring your chair up to the table, you certainly can.
I'd asked him to confirm. He shouldn't have spoken to him. He should have spoken to me. But thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
The last 3 fiscal years, our sales have increased 4.5%, 5.55%, and 4%. And this year they're tracking, I believe, through our January month at 3.7%.
Coming from the private sector, I'm looking at your resume here, which is very impressive. Would you be satisfied with $80 million on almost $2 billion in sales as profit?
You're talking about the giving back to the...
Whatever we're calling that. It seems to be, we've heard how profitable that is.
I think as you heard the chairman say, we could never give back all of our profits because we have to have the cash to reinvest in the business, renovate the stores, make payroll through the summer months. The decision of whether it should be 80 or some other number is between the board and the governor's office, as far as I know.
We were very happy with our $127 million net profit this year. It's the highest that we've ever had. The misnomer on that is we got 18%, what you call the Johnstown flood tax. It's built-in profit. It's what it is, and it makes money. It's collected. It gets transferred to the general fund. As far as I'm concerned, you can't separate the two, but it's separated. So it's the total amount. We gave $551 million this year plus 110. Never been done before. On $2.2 billion revenue, you got $660 million back. We're real proud of that. And I'm real proud of my people.
And I would totally dispute that. I would totally dispute that because a lot of that is tax. And
it's revenue.
Regardless of whether it was a government system, you can look the other way you want, but whether it's a government system, or a private system, the legislation that passed this House that went to the Senate included those numbers in there. What we're trying to work with is we're trying to get a system that's not as expensive, not as inconvenient, and has a much better selection. I just think it's unconscionable for a system that controls 600 stores for a consumer to come in and ask for one bottle that you don't have, and you tell them you got to go order it special liquor order to buy 5 or 12 bottles, when if you did go across the border to Delaware and you went into a retailer that has not nearly as many stores as this state does, and they say to you, I'm sorry we don't have it, but we can get you that one bottle. And for those people that are watching, what that means is, instead of buying 12 bottles at $40 a pop, $480 plus tax, you can buy one bottle at $40 a pop. That's the difference when you have a totally different mindset of being consumer-oriented.
There's no tax in Delaware, sir.
What does that have to do with whether you can buy one
tax.
bottle or 12 bottles?
You know, we have a tremendous selection here, and I dare say that in probably 80% of our stores, that selection that we have is far superior to the selection in most stores, particularly in most of the state. We have access to over 25,000 different variety of bottles, and we can get most anything anybody wants.
From a consumer standpoint, would it not make more sense, if you're interested in the consumer that has 600 stores, to buy the case of wine and distribute it among your other 600 stores, the other 11 that the consumer maybe wanted that one? Or if the case came in, maybe they would buy two. And maybe you would find that you have a product that other consumers in Pennsylvania would want. Just an idea. Let's get back to the budget. As far as the cost of your product that the Pennsylvania consumer is paying, how much of that cost, what percentage are employee benefits, health care costs, and pension?
We would have to get that. I don't have that information right in front of me, but we can get you that information, Representative.
Okay, see, wow. Do you pay health insurance for part-time employees?
We do not.
I don't think so.
We do not.
No. No, sir.
No,
You do not contribute to part-time employees' health insurance.
not to my knowledge.
So if the union contract says you pay 50% of the employee costs for health insurance, you don't do that.
Actually, if it's a union now, you were.
That's what I'm talking about, right?
Okay.
That's
If
the
we
stores.
adhere to the union contract that the Commonwealth obviously negotiates for us. We don't negotiate our own union contract. The union contracts are negotiated by the Commonwealth, and we adhere to them. You are correct.
But you determine how many part-time and full-time employees you have.
We make that determination. That is correct.
Okay.
During holiday seasons and in summer vacation seasons, you are correct.
All right, so just in conclusion then, you're satisfied that $80 million a year is a good profit number, and you'll get back to me on what the cost of benefits are for your employees.
I'm not suggesting to you, let me just say this as chairman of the PLCB. Everyone in this room knows the philosophy that I have with regard to the issue that you're talking about. But I don't adhere to criticizing the employees of an agency in the Commonwealth that, in my opinion, on the average, are doing a very good job. And let me finish as I listen to you.
There's nothing that I said, sir, that
Let me
criticized an employee before applause started. I want to make sure that that's clear.
But by the same token, if you listen to my earlier conversation with this assembly about variable pricing and how we price up, there has not been an increase in pricing at the PLCB from the Commonwealth standpoint. Money in the Commonwealth's pocket since 1993. Your question was, as private retailers, what is our thought process with regard to an $80 million profit on $2.2 billion in sales? And my comment back to you would be, I am not satisfied with that. But by the same token, we live within the constraints of the legislation that we have. So we can't make a lot of changes as a government agency that we would like to make based on legislation that we've been handed. The 1933 liquor code that we operate under is as thick as a phone book, as you all know, with amendments constantly. And when I look at it, I think to myself, if I was a private retailer, I would do this or do that. And then we are not able to do that legislatively. So to answer the question very quickly, something has to break, and I keep saying that. Whether you want to make a change that does something different with the system, and that's what you've been debating now for 2 years, and the cloud that this agency falls under is trying to operate under the rules and regulations that you give us right now. If there's an idea in the House, an idea in the Senate, and it's signed by my governor that changes the system, we will operate that system at that point in time. But I think the criticism of profits is not founded completely because we operate under the rules that you give us.
I would acknowledge some of that, and I would say that the 80 million is on 1.7 billion, so that makes you look a little better. But I did offer a suggestion on how you could help the consumer sell more. Thank you.
Here's my suggestion. Pass the modernization issues, and you'll get another 80 million. You could have done that 4 years ago, and you haven't done it yet.
We passed a bill out of the House that would do a lot more. Thank you.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, we said.
All right, thank you.
We said.